Microtransactions have existed in games for many years, even dating back to arcade games in the 90s. For video games in particular, spending your real-life money on a virtual world became notable in the early 2000s, with games such as MapleStory and The Sims for cosmetic items. EA also took advantage of this in the early 2010s, with their sports games such as FIFA and Madden, where the player base could pay real money to purchase packs instead of grinding for in-game currency, just for the chance to pull their favourite player or one of the best in the game. This is how microtransactions turned from fun additional extras to giving the portion of the player base who are willing to drain their or their family's bank accounts something impactful within the game. This, in its core functionality, is where the term pay to win originates. The people who have the means to spend real money on these microtransactions having an advantage over those who can't or simply don't want to. That is all the history of microtransactions I'm going to give, because it's not really what this video is about, but I'm sure that there are other great videos on that topic as a whole if you're interested in that. What I would like to talk about though, is Black Ops 6 in relation to past Call of Duty games, and how fascinated I am with how the microtransactions, and one set of microtransactions in particular, somewhat disguise themselves from how pay to win they actually are in reality. My first introduction to microtransactions in the Call of Duty franchise is the personalization packs from Black Ops 2. This was the first Call of Duty I owned that I didn't have to borrow my dad's copy for, and the idea of being able to customize my weaponry blew my mind. For an actually very affordable price, you could cover your weapon in dollar bills, bacon, graffiti, or my favourite, quote-unquote, kawaii animal faces. This iteration of microtransactions within COD was actually pretty cool. The skins were cheap and well designed, meaning you could realistically buy as many of them as you were interested in, without draining the bank, or leaving yourself wondering if you could realistically justify such a purchase for a game you'll play for a year until the next one releases. The big turn in COD microtransactions came in 2015 with the release of Black Ops 3 and its latest addition to the Zombies game mode, Gobblegums. Just in case you don't know or remember, Gobblegums were, well, gum that you would consume which gave you some sort of effect. Some examples of this are spawning in power-ups, spawning in one of every power-up, the next gun you buy off the wall landing into your hands pack-a-punched, and the most overpowered, immediately getting every single perk in the game. While you could obtain these for free randomly throughout games by buying perks and such, or through the Newton's cookbook within the menus, they could also be purchased for real-life money through the Emporium. This is where it started getting questionable. Similar to the packs in EA sports games, which Gobblegums you would get for your money were unknown. You would spin, and then 3 would come up, and then it would just be 3 random ones, right? No choice. You could say, and you definitely should say, it was gambling. Spending money for the chance at the big prize, which in this case was a perkaholic or two. Black Ops 3 and Gobblegums is a major example to me of pay to win and gambling within video games. While it wasn't quite paying to have an advantage over others in a PvP sense, it did mean that when it came to high rounding, Easter eggs and general speedruns, you had something better in that Gobblegum machine than someone else did. To bring this back to Black Ops 6 and the point of this video, while Gobblegums are back and somehow both more and less powerful than they were before, the purchase of these isn't really what intrigues me most about the microtransactions. In this case, you just buy a pack of set Gobblegums, no gambling, no spinning and spinning until you get what you want, just, here is what we're selling, buy it if you wish. This, of course, is no less pay to win than it was in Black Ops 3. Sure, you get free Gobblegums more regularly, by reaching certain rounds and hitting prestige levels, but outright buying them will guarantee you what you're looking for. Buying a pack of Gobblegums is honestly less of a guessing game than grinding Liberty Falls until the game gives you them naturally. Enough about the Gobblegums though. What I really need to discuss is blueprints. Yes, we're finally at the point. While at their core, blueprints are just skins, sometimes with tracers, there is a particular quality to them that played my brain enough for me to make a whole video on this topic. They perma-unlock the weaponry they are for. This is so interesting to me as a concept. It's always been the case in COD where once you prestige, everything goes back to the start and you have to unlock it again, with the obvious exception of Prestige Master. The game does provide you with a single unlock token per prestige, which you can use on any gun or equipment you want, but with just how many options you have, you would have to reach a high prestige to have everything you use unlocked no matter what. Your favourite gun or two, your favourite lethal and tactical equipment, multiplayer perks and score streaks, zombies score streaks. Until a certain point, you'll have to make do for the first however many levels of a new prestige to get back what you love to use. That is, until you now factor in blueprints. My fascination with this concept came due to one weapon in particular, the AS-Val. This assault rifle is good. I've never used it in multiplayer, but in zombies it melts the zombies. What is so interesting about this gun is that it isn't unlocked until level 55, the last level before you prestige. This means that if you want to use it, either because you like it or for camo grinding, you either have to stay at level 55 and not prestige, or you use one of your very few unlock tokens. The idea of this annoyed me for a while. I'm personally camo grinding on zombies, which is not easy, and it was the last assault rifle I needed to get to gold before I could move on to opal. I mean, I skipped the goblin and used the crit as my 7th gold camo because the goblin is not for me, but yeah, anyway, that's besides the point. Looking through my previous gold camos is actually when the realization hit me. Because of the battle pass, I had blueprints, and in the top right I saw it. The gun was perma unlocked due to having a blueprint for it. While the battle pass is a good way to get blueprints without having to buy individual skin lines, it is still a purchase to have everything within it. A purchase that has a benefit to you that gives you an edge over someone who will not or cannot make it. Instead of having to use your unlock tokens wisely, you can simply give Activision some money and have any gun you want at any time, regardless of what prestige you are. The blueprint system doesn't account for equipment or score streaks, so you do still have to save up your unlock tokens for which of those you use most. But by unlocking any weapon in the game that you use, it frees up those tokens for equipment and score streaks that you can then have at whatever level, at whatever prestige that you want. That is what fascinates me so much about the pay-to-win aspect of this, is that it doesn't exactly make your gun more powerful, but it does make you have a higher powered gun at whatever level you may be. You can start a new prestige and immediately have the AS-Val, usually unlocked at level 55, while everyone else is stuck with the XM4. And you can't blame the players who don't want to spend a penny on a video game. They're highly in their own right to do that, just as the people who, will spend their money are. But it's just fascinating how the pay-to-win of it isn't power, in a sense, it's convenience and availability, and that's something that you don't see very often, really. I don't really have a point in this video, to be honest. It doesn't bother me more or less than any other pay-to-win concept or microtransaction in general. I just find how subtle and in the background the true pay-to-win nature of it is really interesting. It isn't upfront about it like Gobblegums, but it's also not non-existent. I mean, like I said, it's to do with convenience and availability. Blueprints and their benefit to those who shell out the money for them are somewhat discreet, something you wouldn't notice unless, like me, you were frustrated at how limited camo grinding or using your favourite gun is when going through the prestiges and stumbled across this idea. Have I, following this, bought a blueprint just so I can use the AS-Val? Sure. Why not? Does it mean that I like the idea of having to spend money as a workaround for a game's mechanics? No. I liked how it used to be, but Black Ops 2 came out 12 years ago. Microtransactions is the way games work now. I hope that from now on at least, developers make their pay-to-win mechanics more compelling, just like Activision have done here with Black Ops 6. And that is all I really have to say on the topic, so thank you for watching. I have always wanted to make a video essay, and considering this new channel of mine and this topic being at the front of my mind, I figured it would make a nice first attempt at it. My videos probably won't be related to Call of Duty often, but I'm playing it a lot at the moment, so you might see it here or there if you stick around. Thanks again, and goodbye.